So let's jump right into this explainer and untangle the absolute chaos that became Argentina's 2026 World Cup campaign. From the outside, their title defense looked like pure destiny. Lionel Messi kicks things off with a hat trick, and the whole world is just watching in awe. But as the tournament rolled on, things got incredibly murky. We're not just talking about a couple of blown calls on the pitch. We are looking at a story that swings wildly from sporting glory to literal FBI raids and a mystery that ends right at the departure gates of JFK Airport. Today, we're going to look at the data, the timelines, and the wild sequence of events that left fans everywhere questioning the very integrity of the sport.
We actually have to start this mystery in Atlanta. Picture this scenario. It's high noon, sweltering heat, and the underdog Egyptian national team is up 2-0 against the defending world champions. The greatest upset in football history is literally minutes away. But wait, the stadium screens flash. VAR review. A goal that would have put Egypt up 3-0 is completely wiped out. And why? Over a minor foul that happened 17 seconds earlier, practically 100 yards down the pitch. The momentum flips instantly, and Argentina bangs in 3 goals in just 13 minutes. After the match, Egypt's coach Hossam Hassan didn't hold back. He stood in front of the global media and dropped a bombshell, claiming his team was flat-out cheated to protect massive commercial assets, namely Lionel Messi. And just like that, the whole VARgentina thing went from a quirky internet meme to a global movement.
And if it was just that one Egypt game, maybe it blows over. But a clear pattern of these agonizingly narrow, controversial wins started piling up. Take the round of 32. Tiny Cape Verde, the smallest nation to ever make it that far, by the way, pushes the South American giants to the absolute brink. It took a heartbreaking 111th minute own goal for Argentina to scrape by. Then, in the quarterfinals against Switzerland, Swiss forward Briel Embolo gets tossed out for simulation after a really sketchy VAR review. Switzerland has to play a man down for almost an hour. Now, researchers who study this stuff point out that when massive institutions look like they're protecting their own interests, conspiracy theories just naturally explode. Add in the fact that FIFA expanded this tournament to 48 teams, making commercial growth their massive priority. The soil was perfectly fertilized for everyone to suspect foul play.
But to really get why fans were so quick to believe the whole thing was rigged, we have to rewind a bit to the Balagoon precedent. See, public trust in FIFA was already shattered before Argentina even stepped onto the grass. A while back, FIFA actually overturned a red card suspension for U.S. striker Folarin Balogun, and they did it right after a direct phone call between then-President Donald Trump and FIFA President Gianni Infantino. To the millions of people watching, the message was loud and clear: the rules absolutely bend for the powerful. So fans naturally started asking, right? If a host nation can just phone in a favor to wipe out a suspension, what on earth could the defending world champions negotiate behind closed doors?
Well, this feeling of blatant favoritism lit a massive fire online. Over 23 million people decided they'd had enough. Now, the Egyptian Football Association had already filed their own formal complaint about double standards, but the fans, they took it to a whole new level. A petition popped up on a site called ArgentinaOut.com, and it pulled in a staggering 23,316,108 signatures from 170 different countries. To put that massive number into perspective, it just barely missed setting a Guinness World Record. Their demand was crystal clear: kick Argentina out, give everyone else a fair shot. People were even sharing this viral graphic showing Argentina somehow had the second highest rate of favorable VAR calls in the whole tournament.
But here's where the story pivots from a sports debate into a genuine thriller. Because while we were all arguing about referee calls, the FBI was quietly watching the banks. Behind the scenes, investigators zeroed in on a mind-boggling figure: $57 million. The suspicion was that amid the massive wave of commercial cash flowing through U.S. banking systems, this specific $57 million chunk was being quietly siphoned off. Allegedly, it was being funneled right into shell companies and personal accounts that had absolutely zero legitimate business purpose. And bizarrely, some of the people listed on these accounts were actually categorized as government welfare beneficiaries down in Buenos Aires. You literally can't make this stuff up.
The sheer scale of this financial black hole is honestly hard to wrap your head around. Get this, on July 8th, while the Argentine team is out there literally still playing in the tournament, news breaks that the FBI and federal prosecutors are running a preliminary probe directly into the Argentine Football Association, the AFA. This massive investigation homed in on a Florida-based company called Torprod Enter LLC. Feds were meticulously tracking a jaw-dropping $260 million bouncing around U.S. banks. Having that level of financial scrutiny happening at the exact same time as all the on-field drama, it created this perfect storm of suspicion that the AFA just couldn't shake.
And as if the financial clouds off the pitch weren't dark enough, the players went ahead and sparked a geopolitical firestorm right on it. Right after knocking England out in the semifinals, the Argentine squad whips out this huge banner for the whole world to see. It read, "Las Malvinas son Argentinas," claiming sovereignty over the Falkland Islands. Now, regardless of where anyone stands on that issue politically, the reality is it was a massive, undeniable violation of FIFA's ironclad rule against making political statements during official matches,
which put FIFA in an absolute catch-22. Think about it. On one hand, they could throw the book at the team and follow their own rules, but that would mean disqualifying their biggest, most profitable draw right before the grand finale. On the other hand, they could just look the other way. But doing that would essentially validate every single VARgentina critic out there. It would prove the skeptics completely right that the system was rigged to protect Argentina, no matter what rules got trampled in the process.
So what actually happens next? Well, the climax wasn't some glorious celebration, it was a total meltdown. Spain ends up beating Argentina 1-0 in the final. But the story didn't stop at the final whistle. Literally seconds after the match ends, the stadium in East Rutherford devolves into this shocking, disgraceful brawl. You've got Leandro Paredes grabbing a Spanish defender by the throat, Nahuel Molina allegedly punching the Spanish captain right in the stomach, and for the grand finale, several Argentine players actually turn their backs to the podium during the official trophy presentation ceremony. Just total chaos.
But the real resolution to this whole saga, it didn't happen under the bright stadium lights. It happened hours later, completely out of sight of the cameras. At exactly 6 a.m. at JFK Airport in New York, FBI agents surround AFA President Claudio Tapia just minutes before he's supposed to board his flight. They execute a federal warrant and seize his personal cell phone. That stunning dawn raid added a whole new, chilling layer of criminality and secrecy to the situation. It proved that the shadows hanging over this tournament were very, very real.
Naturally, this explosive chain of events spawned some wildly competing theories. Theory A goes full conspiracy. It suggests FIFA, absolutely furious over that Malvinas banner, threatened the squad with a devastating 10-year ban unless they agreed to purposely throw the final against Spain. People who back this theory point to a leaked tunnel video where Messi tells his teammates to forget everything as absolute proof of a forced defeat. Then you have Theory B, which is a lot more grounded. Critics backing this side argue, hey, there was no script. Argentina simply got outplayed by a tactically superior Spanish team that completely dominated possession. Plain and simple.
As we wrap up this explainer, one thing is glaringly obvious. The dossier on this tournament is still wide open. Sure, the 2026 World Cup officially ended with Spain lifting the trophy, but look at the fallout we're still sorting through. We've got an active FBI investigation tracking a $300 million paper trail linked to the AFA. We've got a pending FIFA disciplinary ruling hanging over that violent final brawl. And, maybe the most tantalizing part of all, we have one confiscated cell phone locked in federal evidence from that JFK raid. A single device that might literally hold the truth to everything that went down behind the scenes.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought about the fragility of public trust in these massive global institutions. When you look at all of this, was this entire tournament a meticulously managed spectacle, heavily scripted for maximum commercial profit, or are we just looking at a series of normal human errors by referees that got entirely blown out of proportion by modern paranoia and a global hate campaign? What do you actually believe? Was the final fixed, or did the pressure cooker just finally break the champions? The complete answers might still be hiding in the shadows, but the impact of Argentina is for sure going to be felt for generations.